Hey, I'm going to show you how to make your song pulse with the kick drum. It's pretty easy, well at least this technique. There's a few ways to do it. I'm going to show you one. Hope you find it helpful. Let's get into it. So I made this the other day on the channel. Sounds like this. And just to clarify, this hasn't been mixed. It sounds pretty average, to be honest. The only thing that's happening on the master bus is Golfos at 22% and 16%, -7 on the brightness. As you heard, it kind of just opens it up a little bit. It's like pre-mixing. I'm also using the mini brute on all of these. That was kind of the challenge of the video, making it all with the mini brute. Sounds good. It needs to be mixed, but sounds good. So this method of getting the song to pulse with the kick drum is through mixed bus compression. Basically, I'm going to use the SSL bus compressor 2. I've got an attack at 3, release at 0.6, ratio 4, 100% mix, and I will double with the threshold and the makeup. My goal is for this needle to move on the kick. And as you'll see when I start playing it, it is probably not going to move with the kick because the levels haven't been balanced. So it is moving with the kick, but the snare is triggering it more. So that means we either need to turn the kick up or the snare down. So basically the philosophy here is we have a bus compressor and we have all the sounds feeding into it. When stuff hits the bus compressor, it compresses it. What I'm trying to do here with this method is I'm trying to make everything pre-bus compressor at a volume so that when it hits the bus compressor, the kick is the thing that's pulling it back. I don't want it to be the synth is pulling it back and then the kick's doing weird stuff. I want it to be that the kick is loud enough or everything else is quiet enough. When it hits the bus compressor, that causes everything to kind of duck a little bit. And by doing that, we kind of get that pulse. Keep in mind there are other ways you can get pulses. You can do sidechain compression or EQ. You can automate stuff, have just punchier sounds. This is just one method. I use it a lot. Let's try to do it. So I'm just going to check this over here. And basically, I'm just going to mess around with the kick and the snare and potentially the other instruments until I'm getting that pulsing that I want. Okay, so it's definitely triggering off everything. So this is a good little hack to kind of get around this quickly. This is the kick. I know I haven't labeled things. Highlight everything but the kick, then play it, and then turn everything down except for the kick. So that's definitely sounding better. What you'll find often with kicks and snares triggering buses, it kind of just comes down to the impact of the snare. So if I just isolate the snare, sometimes that root note either needs to be louder or softer. If it's triggering it too much, you might want to turn it down if it's just punching a bit too hard. Sometimes you actually want to do the opposite of that and boost that note and then turn everything down so that the weight is a little bit more evenly distributed. Just to get kind of more feel through it. I like the SSL bus compressor. You can use pretty much any bus compressor. I think these attack and release settings generally feel pretty good, so just try it out. You can also try and tackle this a little bit earlier if you put the drums into a drum bus, and then let's say we try this one. Pretty much it's showing the same thing, and this is just a chain that I use. We're watching this, the kick is happening on the 1 and 3, snare on 2 and 4. We can just see how the energy is hitting it, right? Actually quite even. Could probably turn the snare down a little bit. This is then going to also dictate how it hits the master bus. So it's all kind of interrelated, if that makes sense. As I said before, you might want to look at the instruments. Chances are you will. Sidechain compression, just EQing out space, especially like high passing, going into where the bass is and high passing up a little bit, or other sounds that are kind of not as, or shouldn't be as bass heavy. Making space for the kick is really important, and that's going to help things pulse just kind of naturally because the kick can actually exist. The kick is a pretty loud instrument generally, so that will definitely help you. You can also sort of do this by limiting, which is essentially compressing. I'm just going to turn it up until I'm ducking with the kick. Same kind of thing, we're just layering that kick compression until it's just really ducking all the other sounds. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, hit like, hit subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. If you use Studio One, Logic Pro, or would like to try a free plugin that I've made, there are links to all of those in the description. The plugin is called The Bean Machine. You can pay what you like, but it is free. If you need a mixing engineer or a producer, you can check out some of my work linked below as well. Have a good day. I'll catch you next video.